The Wolfman Legacy. How werewolves shaped horror, gaming, and global myth. Half man, half beast, cursed by the moon. The werewolf is more than a monster. It's a myth that has haunted humanity for millennia, from ancient folklore to Hollywood horror, from tabletop role-playing to global pop culture. This is the story of the Wolfman, and the genre that transformed fear into legend. Part 1. Origins of the werewolf myth. The werewolf myth is older than most civilizations. In the Epic of Gilgamesh, a woman turns her lover into a wolf. In Greek myth, King Lycaon is cursed by Zeus, his punishment for cannibalism, transformation into a beast. Even the word lycanthropy comes from his name. In medieval Europe, werewolves weren't just stories. They were real threats, accused, hunted, burned. Linked to witchcraft, heresy, and pagan rites, the werewolf became a scapegoat for the wildness within. These early tales weren't about fur and fangs. They were about fear of the forest, of the outsider, of the animal instincts we try to bury. Earliest mentions: the Epic of Gilgamesh, 2100 BC, and Greek mythology's King Lycaon, cursed by Zeus. Medieval Europe, werewolves were feared as real threats linked to witchcraft, heresy, and paganism. Folklore motifs: transformation by curse, bite, or magical ointment. Themes of duality, repression, and exile. Part 2. The Wolfman and cinematic horror. The Wolfman, 1941. Lon Chaney Jr.'s tragic portrayal defined the modern werewolf archetype. Universal monsters joined Dracula and Frankenstein as horror's holy trinity. Evolution in film. 1940s through the 60s. Gothic tragedy and moral conflict. 1970s through the 80s. Body horror and realism. An American Werewolf in London. The Howling. 2000s present. Hybrids, action horror, Underworld, Twilight. The Wolfman, 2010. In 1941, Lon Chaney Jr. gave the werewolf a face and a soul. The Wolfman wasn't just a monster. He was a man cursed to become one. Universal's Wolfman joined Dracula and Frankenstein as horror's holy trinity. But unlike the others, he was tragic. He didn't choose the curse. He suffered it. As cinema evolved, so did the werewolf. In the 1980s, An American Werewolf in London, and The Howling pushed the genre into body horror, grotesque, visceral, unforgettable. Later came hybrids. Underworld turned werewolves into warriors. Twilight made them romantic rivals. The Wolfman, 2010, returned to Gothic roots. Each era reshaped the beast, but the core remained, a man torn between civility and savagery. Part 3. Werewolves in gaming and role-playing tabletop RPGs. Werewolf. The Apocalypse, 1992. Players become Garou, spiritual warriors fighting corruption. Dungeons and Dragons. Lycanthropy as a curse mechanic, shaping character arcs. Video games. The Elder Scrolls V. Skyrim. Join the companions and embrace the beast. Bloodborne, The Witcher, Castlevania, werewolves as bosses, allies, or playable forms. In games, the werewolf is no longer just a threat, it's a choice. In Werewolf, the Apocalypse, you play as Garu's spiritual warriors fighting corruption. It's not just about rage, it's about balance. Nature versus civilization, spirit versus flesh. In Dungeons and Dragons, lycanthropy is a curse or a gift. It changes how you fight, how you roleplay, how you see yourself. Video games embraced the beast. In Skyrim, you run with the companions. In Bloodborne, you become the horror. In The Witcher, you hunt them. But sometimes, you wonder if you're any different. Werewolves in games are power fantasies, but also moral mirrors. What will you do when the moon rises? Part 4. Cultural impact and modern reinvention. Symbolism. Werewolves represent repression, rage, puberty, and identity. Genres: horror, fantasy, romance, satire. Global reach: anime, Wolf's Reign, Spice, and Wolf. Music: Michael Jackson's Thriller, metal and goth aesthetics. Fashion: fur, claws, moon motifs in streetwear and cosplay. The werewolf isn't confined to horror. It's a symbol of puberty, rage, repression, identity. In anime, wolves are wise, tragic, romantic. Wolf's Reign explores extinction and rebirth. Spice and Wolf blends myth with economics. In music, the werewolf howls through genres, from Michael Jackson's Thriller to metal, goth, and synthwave aesthetics. In fashion, claws and fur stalk the runway. In fan art, the beast is reimagined endlessly: queer, feminine, heroic, grotesque. The werewolf is a canvas. Each culture paints it differently, but the eyes are always human. Part 5. Why the Wolfman endures: archetype of duality. Civilization versus instinct, control versus chaos. Legacy in storytelling: tragic antiheroes, cursed lovers, misunderstood monsters. Enduring appeal: every generation reinvents the werewolf to reflect its fears. Why does the werewolf endure? Because it speaks to something primal: the fear of losing control, the thrill of breaking free. It's the duality we all carry: civilized by day, savage by night. The Wolfman is not just a monster. He's a metaphor for trauma, for transformation, for the parts of ourselves we try to cage. And in every generation, he returns to remind us that the beast is never far. From ancient curses to cinematic screams, the werewolf genre is a legacy of transformation. It waxes and wanes like the moon, but it never disappears. If you felt the pull of the beast, if you've seen yourself in the monster, you're not alone. Subscribe for more mythic horror deep dives, and tell us, what's your favorite werewolf moment?